On this episode of the Sports Opinions Podcast, Director of Cross Country and Track and Field for men's and women at Marist College, Pete Colaizzo joins the show as we talk about his program over at Marist, Mike Francesa and his future on the radio, sabermetrics and its role in baseball, and a little Mets and Yankees talk. Before we start the show, here is a little message from our friends over at OvertimeHeroics.com.
What's going on, guys? Grant Pushkar here, joined by my co-director, Victor Williams. Are you looking to bring more attention to your sports content? Over at Overtime Heroics, you can be a part of a growing sports community such as podcasts like my own, Cleveland Surge,
and my own Philly Special podcast. And if you're looking for a place to share your sports opinions, they also have an active forum for all sports topics. So if you want your sports content to be heard amongst other sports fans, go over to overtimeheroics.com/forums and make your first hot take today.
Now, without any further ado, cue the intro. What's up, sports fans, and welcome to the Sports Opinions Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Alex Cuesta. With me today is a guy that I have been trying to get on the show quite literally since it started, and he is only the second person ever that I'm doing it live with. He is the Director of Cross Country, Track and Field, and Adjunct Journalism Professor over at Marist College, a guy that's basically a second father to me. Pete Colaizzo, what's up, man?
Cuesta, can I call you Cuesta on this fancy podcast? This is really cool,
right?
And especially now, I just told you before we started this thing, I'm getting into podcasts now. So I'm in the podcast world now. I'm part of it. Really cool.
That's fun. And you were always a talk radio guy, so this is basically like extension of talk radio.
Yes.
Now, fun fact about you: you are head coach for how many years now over at Marist?
Oh, not that many. I'm just starting my 29th. How old are you?
Jesus, I am 30.
What year were you born?
In 88.
Wait a minute. Am I doing the math wrong? I started in 91.
Yeah, you're doing the math wrong. It's close.
No, this is the beginning of my 29th year. It's true. 29th season.
Oh, there you go. So that makes sense. So
yeah.
So you're old. That's what we're getting at. And so my nickname for him is Old Man. So for all of you people that are PC and ageism, it's a love thing. That's what it is, me calling him Old Man. So we are going to jump into Marist Cross Country and Track. And fun thing about you, you've been around the sport forever. You love our athletes. You can give a damn about the actual sport itself in a way. You are not a student of cross country and track like most of us are.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little harsh to say I don't give a damn about the sport. You're right. Like if I'm flipping around TV, which I never do, but if I have a choice to watch a baseball game or a track meet, I'm probably going to watch a baseball game, which is really weird to admit as a college track coach. Now,
baseball's more boring. Honestly, it really is.
Stop it right now. We
will talk about baseball.
Are we gonna fight now? We have to step outside. Can we bring microphones outside?
That's good radio.
No. Yeah, that's no. Anyway, so yeah, I'm very Marist centric, right? So if it's a track meet and there are Marist runners involved, then I'm all in. I am all in. Nothing matters more to me than that moment, that right there. But no, I'm not a big track guy. Again, when I'm at big meets with our athletes, I'm going to watch the meets. I'm very much interested in it. But yeah, I mean, my sports passion really lies in baseball for sure. I'm actually just starting another book in my car as I was driving here. Sorry, I just dropped my reading glasses.
That's fine. Which book is it? That's always interesting. We can give people a recommended read.
So, I literally just read the first 10 pages of it. Tyler Kepner, he's the national baseball writer for the New York Times. He wrote a book called K, the letter K, A History of Pitching or Baseball in 10 Pitches. And I'm a big Tyler Kepner fan. I think he's a great writer. I was turned on to this book by a podcast. He was being interviewed on the Fresh Air podcast on NPR. I'm allowed to mention other podcasts.
Right? Oh, absolutely. Listen, there are not many rules in podcasts. It's not not like radio. We're not really regulated.
So I can flip you off right now. Well, it's radio. Nobody sees me.
Exactly.
And,
we could tell you people that you're not flipping me off currently, but you definitely can be. We'll let everyone know.
I will.
Oh yeah, when we talk about Francesa, you definitely will.
Oh, without a doubt. Oh no, what I was going to say is I was once told that I have a good face for radio. Like that?
I think we both do.
Yeah, that's probably why you're into podcasts. But no, I still listen. I mean, when I say I'm into podcasts, it's like maybe 3 days. I still, I get very agitated if I'm driving a Marist van and it doesn't have AM radio.
66 WFAN.
Yes. The listeners here may not know what AM radio is, but that's basically it. Yeah, I'm a big Francesa guy, which I know we're going to talk about, but anyway.
We will rip Francesa. Well, I will.
No. But I will defend him, as you can see. Well,
we are going to take a picture. In the picture, we'll have you wearing your ridiculous Mike's On shirt.
Absolutely.
Which Billy Hild Fresh will love.
Number one.
But you mentioned your passion, your care for anything Marist and anything Marist athletes. And you don't give a rip if Marist athletes aren't involved in the track meet, but you care more about the athletes than, a lot of people. And that's one fun fact about Marist. And I think it goes with all of our programs. We're such a small school. Yep. We're tight knit. And I think all the coaches are pretty invested in the athletes more than just being athletes. Now I'm going to pull on a heartstring for you probably here. Outside of the numbers, outside of the record set, the competing, which we are constantly setting records every year in sprinting and run and distance, which is miraculous because we don't have a track. Yep. But outside of that, what is it like? Like you said, you've been a coach for 25 plus years. We're going to go with that just to keep it. And how is it when you see freshmen coming in as boys and girls? They're not men really yet. They think they are. They're coming out of high school. They think they're hot shit. They're not. And then they leave as 22-year-old men and women, and you just watch them and help them nurture them and knew their parents. And what is it like every year going through that emotional roller coaster of meeting these kids and going, are they going to make it 4 years in this program of Marist and the training that me, Chuck, Terry put them through? And then when they get to that point and you're watching them at graduation, what is it like going, they did it, they're awesome, damn, they're gone?
Yeah, I can only speak to the back end. I mean, I can speak to everything, but the back end is still fresh in my mind. They just graduated a few weeks ago. And, I say every year, oh, this is a special class. This is a special class. They're all special to me, man. But this year, 2019, right? Yes. They were a different class in a very special way. They were unified, top to bottom, men, women, sprinters, middle distance. I won't soon forget the class of 2019. But it's tough. It's kind of like, I mean, you got a baby sleeping in the other room there.
Yep.
It's kind of like raising a kid. But you get to skip to age 18, but
which not much has changed from the crib to 18.
Yeah. Well, in some cases, yes, especially on the men's side. But it's a journey. It's a journey and it goes really quickly. And, I'm proud of the fact that, you mentioned we're going to be welcoming in a new freshman class in a couple weeks. Well, about 2 months. And it's a big one. And, I'm proud of the fact that the retention rate, and I don't really track the numbers, but the majority of kids that start finish. And our sport's not easy. I mean, no sport's easy, but our sport may be the most difficult because we're always in season. You know that.
Yep.
I mean, we start if the cross country athletes, we start on August 15th this year, and we're not done till May 15th at the earliest. I mean, what is that? That's 9 months, man. That's 9 months.
Seasons.
It's 9 months of grinding.
Stop.
And like for you were a sprinter, and our sprint crew, they don't come in on August 15th, but it's pretty close, man. I mean,
once school starts in September, practice is hitting the week later. They're starting
the day after Labor Day usually. Yeah. So I mean, it's essentially the same thing. So yeah, but the whole process is, Chuck and I are very close to our athletes. As you know, it's like a family. That's a cliche, I know, but even our alumni family is like a family. We lost one of our
I haven't gone away yet.
No,
I'm a thorn in your side.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna dump on you on your own podcast. But we just back in March, we lost one of our own, Eric Bergman, who was Chuck's teammate, one of my athletes. And it was amazing how all of his teammates, most of whom, haven't seen each other in years, we all rallied together and we were all together. And that's special. You know what? 20 years from now, God forbid, we're in a situation with one of your teammates, one of your classmates, same thing would happen. God willing, I'm still around, but yeah, you're a pain in my ass for sure. For your listeners, I have to mention, so you mentioned I'm an adjunct, professor, right? And there was a time that he's laughing. He knows where I'm going with this. There was a time that I taught a 2-credit phys ed elective called track and field coaching. I haven't taught it in a while just because it hasn't filled up.
Because Vess and I probably scarred him.
No. I would love to do it again. But you were, I can say this pretty honestly, you were my worst student.
Absolutely.
You were this is a 2-credit class, track and field coaching. This is not exactly the Pentagon papers.
And fun fact, I came back and coached, paid for 2 years under Pete.
Correct.
After this.
the nuts and bolts of the class wasn't the problem. You're a student of the sport. Track. You were, you were an asset to our program without a doubt as a coach, but you weren't an asset to the class. You were just an ass.
Yes.
Okay. Because I remember 2 things. One, I have a very strict attendance policy and you flaunted it. You blew off class, you moron. I had to give you a B or B minus, lowest grade I ever gave in that class. Why? Because you gave me no choice. Well, and also you pissed me off because I believe that was a presidential election year. You dragged politics in it, and we're not going there.
I trolled completely. Yeah, it was fun.
I don't even remember. Was that Bush versus who? Kerry?
No, that was Obama. It was Obama's first election.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't remember. But so anyway, yeah. So yeah, you were a shitty student. How about that?
That's fantastic. Yeah. And that's a good transition to my next topic. We pride ourselves with the cross-country track and field program with the fact that every single year, our men and women dominate the all-academic honors.
Yep.
And it has been, obviously, as Pete just mentioned, I was not a part of that group when I was there.
Oh, you were. You were.
I think I made it a few years.
Yeah.
But it would basically, we dominate in a sense where it really is a testament to the type of athletes that you and Chuck do recruit. You're not just recruiting for talent, partially because that is our school standard, and we can't just get in amazing athlete A that doesn't go to school. We have to find amazing athlete A that also is amazing student A. And it really is a testament to bringing in those types of kids. And like you said, kind of giving them that guidance, because college is all fun, but when you're an athlete, especially at the Division I level, it is work. You have a job. And now that we've incorporated lifting significantly more in our program, you are now, you have to be there at least once in the morning if you're a sprinter, or twice in the morning at 5 o'clock to lift, practice it later. Then you better get your stuff in. And if you aren't doing good in school, Alyssa Gates is going to be on your ass. Mm-hmm. So it is a big thing. And it's just a testament to you guys. And what type of gloating is it there where you can kind of puff your chest out in front of the other coaches in the MAC that your athletes are very competitive on the track, especially distance-wise, 100% there, but also easily the best in academics?
Yeah, we don't puff our chest out among other coaches, but when I meet with recruits, it's actually the one thing I do gloat about. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before last, our men's track team GPA was the 8th highest in all of NCAA Division I.
That includes Ivies, that includes UCs, like the elite schools of the elites.
It's every D1 school, man. Okay. And the most recent news is we had 4 COSIDA all district. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So there were 7 track athletes in the MAC that were COSIDA. 4 of them Red Foxes. How about
there
that?
There you go.
Let me see if I can remember.
Now, give an explanation of COSIDA for the people that don't know what it is.
Sure. So COSIDA stands for, actually, I don't know what it stands for, but it's a sports information directors. And it's a regional award and then goes to a national award. So it combines academic success with athletic success. And there are, the academic component is a pretty strong aspect of it. So, and it's far more competitive on the women's side than it is on the men, because women tend to get better grades than men. That's just, there's no joke there. That's just a fact, right?
Yep.
So we had 3 men, and Haley Collins was our one woman. Who were our 3 men? Oh, I got it. I forgot one, but now I got them. So our 3 men were 2 graduating seniors that just graduated, Mike Kennedy and Drew Burns. Kennedy qualified for IC4As 3 years in a row in the 10,000 meters. He was an applied math major, and he's going to go on to be an actuary and do really, really great things. He's
smarter, a really smart kid.
Smarter than the 2 of us combined times 2.
That's
probably.
not hard.
That's true. It's pretty low carb. But anyways, and then Drew Burns, most likely, I think not even arguably, the best middle distance runner in school history.
That's not close. I don't think it's close at this point with the accomplishments he stacked this past year.
So, but I mean, he also got it done in the classroom as a computer science major, and he has a job. I believe he's working for, or will be working for, Regeneron. And then Christopher Rivas, who is a rising senior captain, long distance runner, qualified for IC4As in the 10K. And then I mentioned Haley Collins, who's only a rising junior. So those were the 4. And I have to mention, it's really something that is meaningful to me, is that Kennedy and Rivas Kennedy is the outgoing and Rivas is the ingoing recipient of the Greg Salomon Memorial Scholarship, named in honor of one of my all-time favorite athletes who died way too young, Greg Salomon. And I work with Mike and Rosemary, Greg's parents, on picking. It's a very, very specific scholarship. It's given to a member of the men's cross country and track team who are outstanding students, which Greg was, and who excel in the long distance events. When Greg graduated in 2001, he had the school record in the 10,000 meters and in the steeplechase. He finished as high as 40th in the cross country NCAA regional, and he was all MAC in cross country as well. He was just a phenomenal student athlete, as Kennedy was, and Rivas is, and Drew and Haley. And so we're really proud of this stuff. And you know me, I don't brag about my team.
Not at all. No, you really don't.
I don't. And in fact, when I meet with recruits, I don't, like, if they ask me about performances, I refer them to GoRedFoxes.com. I refer them to my Marist Running blog, because it's all out there, right? Mm-hmm. Like when I was recruiting you, I don't even remember if I recruited you, but whatever. Like I would, kind of. There wasn't as much data out there.
No, your blog was like brand new at that point, which is weird. That was now 12 years ago.
Right. And obviously Go Red Foxes existed out back then, but there was no Twitter. There was no Instagram. There was, you actually had to hunt for the information. So it was more beneficial as a coach to say, hey, Vest just ran this time, or Keegan did this, or whatever. Now, a lot of coaches still do that. Coaches are promoters.
Yep.
You know me, I'm not like that. And my thing is, it's out there. Go ahead and find it. If they ask me specific questions, hey, what's your 4x8 like? What's your 10K like? What do you have for hurdlers? Then I'll answer that specific question. But I'm not going to sit here and brag about my athletes. Nobody's more proud of our athletes than the old man. But I will brag about the academics, because that's what it's all about. I like to say that when they graduate, they're not graduating onto a running team. They're graduating to do something else. And
into the workforce to be successful, which a lot of my fellow alumni are.
And I'm also proud of all the alums that of our program that have gone into coaching.
Yeah.
And it grows every year, which is really, really cool. So, but yeah, the academic success is something I always joke. Well, for the men, we got to be first place in something, so it's going to be academics. But yeah, no, it's good stuff. I'm really glad you brought that up, Questa, because that's something that it doesn't really get out there. I mean, Marist does a great job of promoting it, but ultimately athletics promotes athletics, and but we are student athletes with emphasis on student first. And you know that, and everybody in our program knows it.
Definitely. So I was going to ask you about the outlook for next year, but I know the Pete answer. The Pete answer is going to be the women right now are the golden children, and their job is get Iona. That is their one goal, and it is within their sights, and it's something they can and will do. I'm confident that under Chuck, we are going to beat Iona in cross country. That is something I'm putting it out there. It might not be next year, it might not, but we are going to beat them. We are going to have better recruiting classes. We are going to be a nationally ranked team. For the men, get better, work your asses off. And I really think that's kind of where we are.
You're killing me.
And you love it. I don't want to dig too deep into this because we got to get on to Francesa.
That's
stuff,
fine,
so.
But
I can gloat. I'm not the coach anymore.
You're fine. I mean, I don't put stuff like that out there because and you know this, Cuesta, I'm a big believer in what we can control. And what can we control? Preparation and effort. I can't control, I'm not going to mention other teams. I can't control how they recruit, how they develop, this and that. I respect all other programs in the MAC, in the Northeast, everywhere. So it would be disingenuous for me to say we're gonna beat X, Y, Z. The back of our shirts say be better. That's what it's all about. Because the only thing we can control is making Marist track and cross country the best program we can be. And then we go out there and let the chips fall where they may. And we just, but you're right. I mean, our women's team, with Chuck as really the guiding force there, our women's team's never been better. We've just come off a 4-year run. I mentioned the special senior class. They were a big part of making these past 4 years unbelievable.
And I do have to mention Shea Bohan of the women. She is the pillar of the building block, and I don't think it's debatable the best female runner to ever come through Marist College.
Right. I hesitate. In terms of
all of her accomplishments.
Right. I hesitate by saying, best only, always. But the one thing about Shea is, and I said this in the senior awards banquet in the program, is every special moment, every key moment that we had
this in the van too.
In the 4 years here, Shea was part of, right? Whether it was a relay record or a top finish in cross country, she's just through and through, she's a winner.
Yep.
And, again, me, I wouldn't have singled out one person. That's your job. But yeah, you mentioned Shea Bo, and you know what? She's a winner. Everything she was around, turned to gold, in some cases, literally. So yeah, but yeah, you kind of nailed it. Our women are really, we look to continue to build on the amazing success that we've had in that area. We're very proud of them. The majority of our top women are not seniors. So that's exciting. And with the men, we have an infusion of new talent, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I think you summarized it pretty well. And if you probe me anymore, I'd say let's go on to the next topic, because it's the middle of June, man, and I'm
right now it's all just kind of gloating and speculation.
Yeah, it's speculation, and I'll get the juices will get flowing once the team gets back on campus. Man, it flips like a switch, and the day that it doesn't flip like a switch, then
I'll be coming for your job.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe it'd be time. But 29th year, I'm as fired up as I've ever been. I met with some of the incoming freshmen during the orientation, and I was pounding the table and telling, saying what I wanted to be doing and this and that. And I was just like, man, I left and I was all pumped up. I'm like, Jesus, I gotta chill the hell out, man. It's freaking May or June. But that's
the fun part of it.
That's what I'm at. That's where we're at. So, anyways.
So I got to put as a disclaimer, Iona, anyone that's out there on Iona, I say what I say out of respect for your dominance on both the men and women's side of the MAC since I've been involved with it in 2007. So it's all out of respect. We're coming after you because you're the top dog. So continue to do what you do, and we're going to do what we do at Marist. So,
right. And also, we don't focus on one team.
No, there's plenty of now.
We respect
and all the newcomers.
Right, we respect every team in the MAC. The MAC has never been stronger, and this, having the historical perspective of over a decade. This is not Cuesta's MAC from 2007, 2008. Okay, this MAC in all 3 seasons it's a damn good league. It's a really, really good league. I mean, one random stat. Spencer Johnson, when he broke 15 minutes for 5K for the first time, he did it at the MAC Indoor Championships. He ran 14:56, let's say. It was just under 15. He didn't score. He got 10th place. He didn't even come close to scoring. Okay. Back 10 years ago, that is in the middle of some tactical race, right? He's probably medaling. Okay. Yeah. He runs 14:56 or whatever the hell he ran, and he did not score. Okay. Now he's in the top 5 in national caliber road races. Okay. He's out in San Diego now. He just PR'd in a half marathon, whatever. I'm getting off on a tangent. So you know how it goes.
Oh yeah. So, I talk about the respect for Marist. We're jumping on to the ridiculous guy on your shirt who I think is losing respect every single show he puts out. And I like Mike Francesa. I'm putting that out there. When me and Billy Held, he came on the show, we talked about him. Mike. We had a good conversation. He was back. We were both pumped up. The show's not the same. It's not what it was before he left. I'm not even talking about Mad Dog. I'm talking about before he left.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because before he had some he seems like he's just pulling things out of his ass completely now. His stats are a lot less than what they used to be. He's less willing to listen and actually argue with people.
Yeah.
He's more grouchy. It's not the fun. He was always great because he would rapid fire calls, and if you gave him something semi-legitimate, he would debate with you. Now you give him something semi-legitimate, he tells you you're an idiot and hangs up. It's a different show, and I think it might be a mistake on his part to come back, and I think he came back only to promote the app, and that's just wrong too.
I don't know about only, but I definitely think that's a big aspect of it. I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
No one's paying that much to listen to Mike. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he's he's in his mid-60s, right? He's got to look ahead. And give him credit. He's not your typical old fart who's like, I'm just going to sit behind a microphone and do my 6 hours or 5 hours. Great. So he's evolving, right? Yeah. I mean, I think he would be great in a podcast setting. Now, I'm gonna flip the script on you a little bit with Francesa. The thing, again, I'm a huge fan.
Yep.
Still am. I definitely feel like the new iteration of the show, it is different. Okay. I do think that it's condensed to 3.5 hours. His show does better with more air, no pun intended. Okay. But the one, I'm not going to get into a debate with you in terms of how he treats the callers, because that, whatever. But I will say this, Francesa is a fantastic interviewer.
Without a doubt.
Okay. Now, I don't know if you heard it. If you didn't, go back. I'm sure it's posted on their website, right? He interviewed Pete Rose a few weeks ago. It was phenomenal. It was because so a couple things. Francesa has institutional knowledge of Pete Rose. He knows Pete Rose up, down, sideways.
He probably knows it better than Pete Rose. He probably knows Pete Rose did better than Pete Rose.
Actually, no. Pete Rose, I think Pete Rose had 4,192 hits. I think he remembers every one of them. It's unbelievable, his memory. Pete Rose. Okay. I happen to be a huge Pete Rose.
Put him in the hall.
Oh my God.
It's terrible.
It's ridiculous. Okay. So, but that interview, and you could tell he knew the subject backwards and forwards, but he didn't fawn. He wasn't a fan.
Oh, not like A-Rod? He fawned over A-Rod every time he interviewed him. He did. And that was good, Mike, fawning over A-Rod.
but so he is a outstanding interviewer. He knows the ebb and flow. And I mean, he's, for what you're doing, Cuesta, and what you want to do, I know podcasting is a little bit more of a long form, but you really should take some cues with how Francesa interviews.
I heard him with Brody Van Wagenen, and he helped Brody, where the Mets don't want to do anything with Mike anymore. They're kind of, between them and the Giants, they're kind of both shunning Mike. Right. But he didn't kill Brody. He could have destroyed Brody Van Wagenen in his interview. And he gave him every chance to make himself good, to make himself sound good, to help him with the Mets fans. The Mets fans are looking and going, this guy was all bravado, and now we're the same Mets. He actually did Brody Van Wagenen a favor, I thought.
Right. And I think you just stumbled onto something that maybe we can agree upon, not that it matters whether we agree or not, but with Francesa, I think in his post-retirement show here, I think he's gotten more even-handed with his interviews. Specifically, he always crapped on the Mets, right?
As he should have.
Right. I mean, yeah, they're kind of a train wreck of a franchise. Okay. But he, his spots with weekly spots with Mickey Callaway are really good. Yeah. He doesn't go after them. No. Now when they're off the phone and their bullpen, my God. Oh my! Or can they have a worse bullpen in the world? I mean, he'll go on rants about that. Like, was it yesterday? Yeah, I'm driving to Jersey yesterday, and he's complaining about the weather, and he goes, "What's more depressing, the weather or the Mets?" And it's a tough. And then back after this.
But I'll say something about Mike though. If there is something to go after, if Mickey makes a stupid decision or something, he does it in a tasteful way, where he'll sit there and he'll bring up, you made this decision last game. This didn't work out. It doesn't seem like it was the best way. What was your thought process? He gives the people a chance to say, this is why I did it. And after that, it's done. He doesn't really press it. Let the answer simmer. Let the fan think of that. And I'm not arguing his interview sense. And he's great. And I feel like his main rival's Michael Kay. They had their stupid spat about ratings. That was the most childish thing to me on both sides. I feel like, though, he would really do well, like you said, in a podcast or even in a center stage style, because Michael Kay's best part of him isn't the show, isn't his commentary, it's center stage. That's awesome. He does a great job with center stage. That is Michael Kay at his finest. I feel like Francesa would do great in something like a center stage, or even just go talk about horse racing somewhere. Who knows more about horse racing than Mike Francesa?
He knows his horses.
Now,
one of the things that I like about Francesa is he, unlike most talkies now, Kay included, he doesn't make it about himself. There's none of that banter.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He does it. No, yeah, he name drops all the time. Hild and I we're always texting during the show about.
He'll talk about, I don't talk about, where I sit. I was sitting right behind the dugout and I could see, it's like, come on, Mike.
Yeah.
But 10 minutes ago.
I mean, he's been in the industry, as long as you've been alive, as long as I've been coaching, if not more.
I think, yeah.
So he can name drop like that, right? But there's none of that. Like, you turn on ESPN radio and it's just this banter.
What is that? ESPN radio? Is that even a sports radio anymore?
Whatever. I don't listen to it.
It's awful.
But it's just like it's banter that it's just like, you know what? When I'm in the car, and again, I'm old school. I'm not listening in my on my phone or watching it on TV. It's like, okay, when there's commercials, I'm annoyed. When they're on the air, I want substance. When Mike's on the air, there's substance. Okay, he might be verbally abusing callers. He might be talking about horse racing. Might be talking about this, that, and the other thing. But he's moving the show forward. He does repeat himself a fair amount, but again, that's old school radio. Okay, because you never know when somebody is just getting in their car, tuning in. So yes, is he going to repeat his point 5, 6, 10 times? He is. But what if you weren't, what if you're not Billy Hild sitting there at work listening to him from 3 o'clock to 6:30, right? What if you're like me, dropping kids off, doing this, doing that, running errands, and it's like you get in and out of the car, and okay, so his take that he had at 3:05, I'm not getting in the car till 4:30. I'm not listening on the app. Not the app, on the live stream.
Radio, whatever it is.
On the live stream. Yeah,
wherever you get it.
So I think maybe we've reached a little common ground now.
A little bit. Like I said, I think his mistake in coming back is not his interview. That is his next life. I feel like his radio life was done when he left. And I thought he left at the right time. Now, I think WFAN, I think he's kind of being courteous because I guarantee they went back to him and said, CMB's awful. We made a mistake. The only one with talent there is Maggie. Can we please have you back? Because honestly, and I love Bart Scott. I'm a Jets fan. Craig Carton's he's whatever. Not Craig Carton. He's so insignificant. No. Who's with CMB? What's his name?
Bart Scott.
Bart Scott, Maggie Gray, and I don't even know the C.
Carlin.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Continent.
He's awful.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't remember his name. Craig Carton just went to jail. Do good, Craig Carton. Yeah. Stop embezzling money. But it's just such a bad show there, and I'm pretty sure they begged Mike to come back.
Yeah, I think he missed it too. I mean, I can't get inside their head, but I do think he missed it. I do think that he wanted to stay relevant in the industry. I think he had more to give. He's not, he's in his 60s, but I still think he was. I mean, I was depressed when he retired, and I was. I mean, I actually, this is funny to admit, I actually cried. I cried at the last show.
Now, if they would have replaced him properly, though, I feel like it would have been better if they would have finally given Evan Roberts his own show, who is probably the best talent on WFAN right now, is Evan Roberts.
Yeah, I mean, I love Joe and Evan. What I love about
Joe's a poor man's Mike.
Right, but what I like about them is they're a different perspective because they're true fans. They're like you. They live and die.
Oh, Evan's a Nets fan like me. So
the Jets, the Nets. Yeah. What's your baseball team? Yankees?
Yankees, yeah.
That's weird.
I like one winning team. I was a Devils fan too when they were winning.
Yeah, but they're just great radio because they are true fans and they admit it. And Evan's a season ticket holder at Citi Field.
But he's also a talented radio host.
Oh no, he's very good.
Very good. And I feel like he was the guy, and they really screwed up with CMB. Now I'm curious. Would Mike Francesa's show be saved if he had a partner again? If someone like JJ was a guy rumored to come with him for a long time. If he gets a partner, someone like similar to what Mad Dog gave him, will it work?
Cuesta, I'm in the minority in that I loved Mike and the Mad Dog, but I always enjoyed Francesa on his own.
Mike's
and I enjoy him now. I think JJ is a talent. I think he would. I think Bill Simmons and Francesa have a really good chemistry. But no, I mean, Mike's been solo for 10 years now. He is what he is. I don't think he would deal with a partner at this point. I wouldn't want to hear it. Again, I'm probably in the minority there. And I'm loyal. I'm a Francesa loyalist. And I always will be. Is he perfect? No. Did he lose something on his fastball coming back? I do believe he did. I also feel like, that his farewell tour was quite elongated. So it was kind of weird that he came back. He unretired, but it's also kind of unusual how quickly he unretired, right? I mean, he was back 4 months later.
Let's be honest. He's Michael Jordan right now in his Wizards run. Still talented,
maybe
still
even
good.
Maybe you don't remember Michael Jordan when his first retirement.
He came back with the 4-5.
No. When he went and played baseball.
Yeah,
he played for the Birmingham Barons.
Yeah, I remember.
And he did that for a while. That was not a fluke. He played for like 2 years with Birmingham.
And he was terrible.
Yeah, he wasn't Michael Jordan.
No.
He was, you know what he was? He was what they call a quadruple A player. Not even, he probably wasn't even that good. But the point is he was a mediocre minor league player. There's a ton of them out there.
Oh yeah.
But he gave that a run. He didn't, I remember that. I was working at the Journal.
And they made
at the
Space
time,
Jam.
So.
That's when they made Space Jam, is when he was playing minor league baseball.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. If you're going to do movie references, you're going to lose me.
Look at that.
You're going to lose me.
So my verdict is, Mike, go back to retiring and have an interview show, and it would be great.
And my verdict is, you're wrong.
So I'm going to let you be angry now. Talk to me about sabermetrics, Pete.
I'm not angry. I
you
love
like
sabermetrics.
Them? I thought you disliked them.
No,
wow.
No,
you are a numbers geek. So
no, I love them. And now, hey, listen. Okay. Ryan Stanek, right?
Yes.
The opener for the Tampa Bay Rays. Okay. The Tampa Bay Rays made that work. Cuesta, pop quiz. You're not going to know the answer to this. Who came up with the idea of the opener? If you look it up, I don't know if you Googled it, if this would come up, but I'm pretty sure the first guy that put it out there is fill in the blank. You're not going to get it.
Is it like an old school type of guy?
Nope.
New school?
Nope.
Who is
it's neither. It is Brian Kenny. You know Brian Kenny? He's on, I think he's on the MLB Network.
I think, yeah.
BK. I knew BK.
Okay.
I'm not dropping. Now I'm like Francesa. I'm dropping names.
Oh, you can name
BK
drop.
Worked at WTZA in Kingston as a sports anchor going back. This is like late 80s, early 90s when I was at the Journal. BK used to call the Journal, and I would answer and get all the scores. Okay. And then he had a show called Sports Talk Live. And I was on a show a few times. Okay. So I knew BK before he was Brian Kenny.
Yeah.
Now, then he went to ESPN. He
did his thing. Yep.
He did his thing. He was big into boxing. Now he's on the MLB Network. Anyway, BK wrote a book a few years ago. I don't remember. It was a baseball book. I don't remember the exact title of it. In that book, it was kind of snarky, right? Like a lot of these sabermetrics books are, because anybody that knows sabermetrics, you got to be pretty smart. Okay. So, but
it has a pompous air to it.
It does, because it's fact-based. Okay. It's data-driven. Anything that's data-driven, there's tangible proof that the stuff works, right? So BK came up with the idea of the opener, and he traced it to the All-Star game. Okay, what is the All-Star game? The All-Star, it's obviously All-Stars, right? But the starter, the All-Star starter, okay, will pitch an inning or two, and then a fresh arm comes in. Why do you think some All-Star games are 2-1, 1-0? Because it's fresh. So the idea of the opener is, it was scoffed at, but the Rays, who weren't that good of a team last year, won 90 games.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, notwithstanding the Yankees just sweeping them, yay, they're really a well put together team, and they rely on sabermetrics. Now, the thing is, sabermetrics, everybody's got analytics now.
Yes.
Right. So, but some of the things that have come out of sabermetrics, I really like. I like the idea that on-base percentage means a lot more than batting average. I don't like OPS, because you're taking two different things. Tell me the on-base, tell me the slugging percentage.
Now,
don't combine them.
Let me give you a little counter argument to what you're talking about with sabermetrics. Now, I'm both on sabermetrics. I think it has a place in the game, but I hate how much it's emphasized. It's kind of a little bit of both there, because I think there's obviously a place for the analytical side, but you were an athlete. I was an athlete. There's a gut part to sports, and there is that part to it. There is momentum that numbers can never feel. You know what I mean? When the Patriots are down 28-3, you're telling me sabermetrics could have predicted the Patriots coming back the way they did? No, that was coaching. That was drive. But in terms of baseball, raising the opener last year was a mistake. That was out of necessity of having 4 starters hurt and no one to come up. So they did it. It worked. It's great. And they did use it a few times again this year. But that was out of necessity. So that wasn't necessarily sabermetrics. That was, oh, shit. Let's talk to our smart guys, our Jonah Hills from Moneyball, and see what's going to work. Number 2 argument against sabermetrics is the Oakland A's. They are the model of sabermetrics.
They were. Now everybody's copied them now.
Everyone has, but they were the model. And it worked, but they never got a championship out of it. They had good teams. They had good hitters. They had very good pitching. They never got a championship out of it. Now you have geniuses like a Theo Epstein, who used both sabermetrics plus Tito Francona. Tito, you handle the feeling on the field. I will handle putting the team together with the right stuff to give you. And part of it is, and I hear it on Boomer and Gio a lot and a lot of shows, they are taking the manager and the managing out of baseball with sabermetrics. It is a GM is the manager now, because they give you the guys, they tell you who you have to play, and that's that.
The couple things I want to reply to that, but to start with that last point, you're right. They do. I don't like how they're not only enamored with pitch count, but you can't go. It's less pitch count now, Quested. Now it's like they don't want you going through the lineup 3 times.
Yep.
So then you get something noteworthy like Tanaka pitches a 2-hitter the other night, or DeGrom last night goes 8 1/3. That's like, whoa. He saved the bullpen. That's like a but that's not even the excitement. That's a rarity.
The quality start number is going to be 4 innings soon. It's not going to be 6, because guys don't go 6 anymore.
Yeah,
if you don't go minimum 6 innings, to me, you're not a starter. Guys are going 4 and 5 and they're done.
Right. And again, but I will say this about the manager. A lot of what you said is accurate, but the management of the bullpen, the pitching staff, specifically the bullpen. Every game's in the bullpen now. Literally every game. I mean, how many?
They have 3 guys on the bench. How many 3 position players? Everything else is 10.
How many games have there been this year? I bet you it's is single digit. I bet you it's a single digit. If you Googled it right now, I bet you it's like 5
and
complete
probably
games.
probably multiple of Clayton Kershaw,
right?
Because he's like the last old school guy.
But here's the thing. So the manager still has great relevance in game in terms of how he manages the bullpen. Okay, there's nobody. The pitching changes are not getting now.
That's still all sabermetrics though, because guys are putting them in based off matchups and matchups alone, not so and so's arm was really alive 2 nights ago, and he's facing another righty with this type of stuff. We're going to throw him in. No, it's he had a live arm 2 nights ago, but it's because the numbers were good. The numbers aren't great against this guy, so we're not going to do that.
But I do think there is some like Joe Girardi was a great manager of bullpens, and Girardi, everybody considers him old school. Girardi was the first manager who used binders in the in the dugout.
He got criticized for that.
Correct.
Killed for that on the
correct. And it's kind of ironic that now he's viewed as an old school manager.
When fans want him so bad.
Oh my God, he would be amazing on the Mets. He would be.
No one would be amazing on the Mets.
No. Listen,
they're not
Francesa
right
actually addressed this. A caller brought it up, and he addressed it yesterday. Would he make the Mets better? Would he upgrade them in a lot of areas? He would. But the problem with the Mets is their roster as it's constructed is flawed.
Well, yeah, their pitching coach Dave Island made them better, but they're still not good.
Right. But I do think that the manager has definitely been devalued, but not totally irrelevant. I do think in-game decisions, but you're right. There's no bench anymore. Like, I will tell you this, Cuesta, if the Yankees have to keep Cameron Maybin. They have to keep Maybin. They obviously have to keep what's his name, Gardner. He's not going anywhere, and he's actually having a decent year for an old guy.
Yeah.
Right. So they have to keep those. They can't cut Maybin. They can't. He's too good. They don't need to be carrying 13 pitchers. Stop it.
Now I'm curious what your opinion of this is, because how is this now going to work and evolve for the superstar, especially in baseball where it's a home run or bust game now, where the superstar like Giancarlo Stanton coming back. He struggled mightily last year, and it was, he's going to get it. He's going to get it. He's going to get it. What if he has another year where he struggles again? And it's now the numbers are saying he's not worth putting in a lineup against a lefty pitcher anymore. Would the sabermetrics number trump the superstar status? Because baseball is a much less superstar-driven game than other sports.
That's you brought up a really intriguing example. First off, Stanton,
a former MVP.
Correct. And he went 3,800 last year. Okay.
Terrible batting average, terrible OPS, and terrible on base.
And here's
all of it was bad.
Here's the one thing that does piss me off about sabermetrics, and this is why I love Jeff McNeil on the Mets, is the idea that strikeouts don't matter. Bullshit, they don't matter. Put the ball in play. You put the ball in play, stuff's going to happen. Now, I understand, listen, some of the best home run hitters of all time were strikeout machines. Dave Kingman, way before your time.
I remember Dave. I remember the end of Dave Kingman.
Right. But I'm just saying, it's like, but now everybody's Dave Kingman. Okay, everybody's Pete Incaviglia. Remember that
Fielder,
name?
Who was a great home run hitter, but if he didn't hit a home run, he was out at first.
Right. But Cecil Fielder in '96, when the Yankees got him, if they needed a clutch hit, Cecil Fielder would shorten up his stroke and get a clutch hit. Okay, so Stanton is the quintessential modern player, and so is Aaron Judge, who is actually has a much more well-rounded game than people think. He's a great glove, and he's a plus base runner. He's a really good base runner for a big dude.
Think he is.
It's not even faster. Brett Gardner is one of the fastest players ever, but he's a terrible base runner.
Yeah.
He has no base running instincts. Aaron Judge is huge. He's got good speed, but he has plus
a great feel for the game.
Right. He's got great instincts. But Stanton that's an intriguing point. So I didn't like when the Yankees got Stanton. As good as he was, he didn't fit. They didn't need him. And he's not a bad guy, but he still doesn't fit the lineup. A. B, he's kind of a DH. Although he's a decent glove, he's okay. He's got a good arm, but he's
not replacing Judge and Wright, who's almost a gold glove candidate.
So, really, to summarize Stanton, is he doesn't fit.
No.
Right? And you brought up a really good point. So what if his numbers, what if his splits are all of a sudden he's a fool against lefties? He's batting 180 against lefties. Are you gonna Are you going to sit him? I mean,
No.
not lefties against righties, right?
Yeah,
or whatever.
You know what I'm saying? I just
like,
threw out a
whatever
aside.
whatever splits it is, right? Like,
now, do you get Encarnacion, which the Yankees did to protect against that? Is that kind of what you do now? Do you split Encarnacion and Giancarlo Stanton?
So he'll text me after the Yankees got Encarnacion. And as always, that's how I found out about it. He knows about it before anybody. So he's just, he's got all of his notifications on his phone. I don't anymore. But anyway, so I think I have an interesting take about Encarnacion, which I like him as a player.
Yes.
Okay. And they got him for nothing, basically.
Well, Luke Voigt's as good as gone now because of him.
No,
absolutely.
No,
he's got to be traded.
No. You know why they got Encarnacion? Because of insurance. Because of Stanton and Judge. Took a long time to come back from these injuries. What if they're not right? They can't keep relying on Gio Urshela and Cameron Maben. These are great fill-in players. They're good role players, and they have a spot on this team. And if your bench is Romine, because he has to be there, but if your bench is Urshela and Gardner and Maben, that's a really good bench because you got Gardner, Maben, who are plus defenders and have speed. I just said Gardner's a great base runner, but you put them on the base paths, they're not clogging up the base paths.
And
at
Gardner
the end
in
of
the
game.
Field gets to every ball, so it's like
Gardner, and Urshela too. So, but you make a really good point about Stanton. What do they do about that? What wins? Right, you're paying him, $300 million. Is he going to become a platoon player? I don't know. That's going to be a head-on collision right there of old school economics and new school numbers. Okay. Yep. If that were Cameron Maben, okay. If it's Aaron Hicks, who they love, but if Aaron Hicks all of a sudden can't hit lefties,
he sits.
He was, Hicks, not a great example because he's really their only leadoff hitter. But if you have a guy who all of a sudden has bad splits, it doesn't matter who you are. If Jeff McNeil stops hitting left-handed pitching, he's not leading off for the Mets anymore.
Yep, exactly.
I love McNeil. I know we're talking about the Yankees, but on the Mets,
we'll talk about both.
I love McNeil.
I love Alonso.
The Mets, it's so weird, Cuesta. The Mets, and I'm a Mets fan because of my youngest son, James, right? So I watch the Mets. My
extended family here, my wife's side's all Mets fans. And I will go on the record, I said before, Citi Field is so much nicer than Yankee Stadium for fans. It is the most fan-friendly stadium I've been to in a long time in any sport.
I love it. I love Citi Field. I was just there last Thursday with my buddy Eric.
Place.
It's just
great.
Phenomenal. But the Mets, the past after they made it to the World Series, the past couple of years, there's been times where their lineup is like, I can't watch it. I mean, they got like clowns batting clean.
Now, I have to ask you.
Now, look now. Hold on a second. Let me just go through this real quick with the Mets.
Yeah.
You go through every position, they have decent players.
A major league player.
They got major league where they had it, right? So, I mean, I won't go through it, but they actually, their lineup is still flawed. It still needs Cespedes, which it's not going to get. It needs Cano to be half a Cano. And I love Cano. I'm a big Cano guy, right? But here's the thing. Their lineup's not killing them. They're scoring runs, okay? What's killing them is the worst bullpen perhaps in history, okay? I mean, if they continue on this trend, they will be the worst bullpen in history, A. And B, their starters are slightly underperforming. DeGrom, now listen, DeGrom wasn't going to match last year. Last year was a career year, right? So he's a little off. Syndergaard's off. Wheeler is not as bad as his numbers, but he's off. Matz has never become Matz. Nope. And ironically,
Vargas has been their most consistent guy this year.
He was their most consistent guy, but now he's on the shelf. So, and don't worry, DeGrom's fine. DeGrom is, I mean, his numbers are coming.
Now, I'm just curious your perspective here. Now, looking at it, hindsight's 20/20, but the Mets, look at the Yankees did a few years ago. They got rid of Chapman. They got rid of Miller. Two all-world talents to build that farm.
Phenomenal job. And what Cashman did that
now,
year.
Why don't the Mets look at that and go, yeah, we're not guaranteed we have a Chapman situation where a great player is going to come back, but you had situations where people were calling for your four top guys, Matz, Wheeler, Syndergaard, DeGrom. You could have gotten rid of either DeGrom or Syndergaard and Matz or Wheeler, stuck with two top guys, which most teams go with now, filled in the next three, and then built that farm. What the hell were the Mets thinking going with the old school sense like you, going against sabermetrics and having four potential aces? and no bullpen and no depth in their system.
Right. The Mets they've just been mismanaged. And I don't mean on the field. I'm talking about.
Yeah, because I think Terry did a pretty good job. I like Terry Collins.
Yeah, Terry Collins was good. Terry Collins was real good.
Mickey's meh. I'm out on Mickey still. The jury's out on him. I don't know about Mickey.
Yeah.
He loves everyone too much.
Right. And but that's the new school manager quest.
Terrible.
But here's the thing.
Give me more buck.
Here's why Mickey Callaway can and should get fired. Mickey Callaway came in as a pitching guru, okay, under Tito Francona, okay? What sucks about the Mets? They're pitching,
bullpen.
Okay? Bullpen. And their starters, whatever. But
in the bullpen's defense, though, Familia looked like a good move as a setup, and Diaz was the most dominant closer in the sport for 2 years. In their defense, they've gotten to Familia and Diaz a good amount, and they have shit the bed equally, both of them. So I can't completely crap on every part of it,
right,
because the guys that were supposed to perform have not, and that's out of control of both Mickey and Brody Van Wagen.
Right. I think Diaz will be fine.
He's a stud.
Familia, you worry about that. But getting back to your original point there, you're right. I don't think trading DeGrom would have been, even though he had high value.
He's 31.
Yeah, but you need
kind of an R.A. Dickey. I think they should have.
He's a late bloomer. I think he's got another 4 or 5 years in him. But whatever, that's debatable. But your original point is not debatable. They should have done that, because right now, I mean, the two best things about the Mets right now, halfway through the season, the Mets did not predict. They didn't know McNeil can hit. They didn't know Alonso was going to be
Aaron Judge of Citi Field.
Correct. They did not know that. Okay, so where the Yankees look at their farm system, arguably the best in baseball, and look at who they've produced, right? But that was by design. Okay, Cashman did that masterfully. Gleyber Torres, who's the dude that's hurt now? I'm losing my train of thought. Andujar, right.
Look at their backups in Urshela and look at Clint Frazier, who just got sent down. They would both be starting everyday players for the Mets right now.
Right. And I mean, Urshela was a pickup. I mean, he wasn't developed, but your point is well taken, right? So this was a design that this was Cashman's grand design. He was always held back by the boss, right? Steinbrenner always, I mean, their last world championship was gotten mostly on the backs of big free agent signings in CC and who's the pitcher? Why am I drawing blanks on names? AJ Burnett.
Yeah, Pettit came back for that year, I believe.
But his design is now the Yankees. They haven't won a World Series in a while. They could win a World Series this year. But here's the thing: they will be relevant and they will be good for a long time, and not the old Yankee model of they're going to buy it. No, they have developed it. They're only the fourth or fifth highest payroll in the game, right? The Mets need to take a little page of that, and they're not. They're just getting retreads. I love Todd Frazier, but Todd Frazier is going to be out of the game in 2 years.
And you even look at the Boston Red Sox. They have a similar model to the Yankees going on. A lot of their guys that came up, Mookie Betts, and a lot of their guys that are stars right now, all farm guys. So, all right. Last thing before we go, I have my prediction for the Mets that they have a once in every 15-year thing that they do. 2000, they got swept by the Yankees. 2015-16, they were in the World Series. They sucked again. Are we going to see them get into a World Series again before 2030?
Oh, man. I just hope I'm alive in 2030, dude. I'm not going to be as pessimistic about the Mets as I would be about the Jets, and I'm glad we didn't talk about football, but because I can't carry that conversation. But that's a long way away.
You could say it. No, 2030 is their next championship chance. It's a 15-year rule for them. 86, 2000, 2015, 2030. So,
man, for James's sake, I hope you're wrong. but again, the way I broke down the Mets, right? I mean, they're maddening, right? They should be better than they are. They are on paper a better team than they have been for a while, but they're still the effing Mets, right?
Same old Mets.
Yep. Same old Mets. So, you want to go with 2030? You know what? I'm not going to argue with you.
All right. With that, we close out this episode of the Sports Opinions Podcast.
We're done?
We are done.
Oh, man, that was a lot of fun.
Exactly.
You going to have me back?
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
The man you just heard right next to me, a guy that's literally, if you could tell, he's like a family member to me, the way we banter. Director of cross country track and field and adjunct journalism professor over at Marist College, Pete Colaizzo. Pete, thank you again for coming on.
Cuesta, this was a lot of fun, and I'm proud of you for doing this.
I appreciate that. Now, I got to plug his fancy running blog, Marist Running. Go Google it. It's where you will find everything, stats, updates, anything Marist, but also a little bit of the brain of the man who used to write for Poughkeepsie's Finest, the Poughkeepsie Journal. He was a writer. How many years did you write for them?
Well, I worked there full-time for 25 years, and I still write a weekly column for them as a freelancer. So I've been affiliated with the Journal for over 30 years.
There you go. So he can write. He's not a dummy. And you will enjoy what you read there. It's a great slice of life type of blog as well as stats. So you'll enjoy that there. And again, I'm Alex Cuesta, host of Sports Opinions Podcast. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at @A_Cuesta30. Find Sports Opinions on Twitter at SportsOpinion30. Instagram, Sports Opinions 30. Visit the Facebook page. You can go find this podcast, my past podcast, anywhere you can find one, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Play Music, everywhere. And again, Sports Opinions Podcast, great guest all the time. Thank you for listening, everybody. Have a good one.